Okay, family, we back from our commercial break. Before the commercial break, we had a little video. And basically, the video was just a lady asking a question that I'm gonna ask the fellas. We gonna answer here uh on the podcast. And so basically, fellas, should you know your spouse's background, where she come from, her genetics, whatever it is may be, her personality traits, where she learned, her mama, her daddy, her grandma, her grandfather, whoever it may be. Should you know her background before you marry her? Why or why
Oh,
not?
snap.
Y'all take it
Take
away.
it away, Lou. Take it away, Lou.
Oh man. All right. So I'm gonna answer your question and I'm gonna address the video because she was coming from a female standpoint of view and you're asking us from a male standpoint of view. But I want to make sure I address both of them.
Okay.
So from a male standpoint of view as us, I say absolutely 100% you look at that because that gives you an idea of her relationships. And even when I think back on mine, that was something that I was also looking at as well because it tells you a lot about who you're interested in from the relationship they have, maybe with their mother, their father, if they know them, if they don't. All these different things play a factor into how your relationship is going to be. If they were close to their grandmother, if they, all these different things. Do they have a big family, a small family? Do they have consistent family gatherings? This will let you know the type of person who you're dealing with, and it also give you a understanding of their background. Now, in the instance of what she was saying, as far as a woman knowing, and she was addressing the fact to the women that you're getting upset with this man, but you never took time to really look and see if he saw or was exposed to the things you want him to do. And I could personally say in my life, I am she is describing me 100%. So a little background about me: my mother and my father divorced when I was very young, and my mother remarried. And even though my mother remarried, it wasn't my father. So I looked to him like a father, but I never really got a chance to see my actual father interact with his spouse because we were living in two different states. And I know that plays a part into me a lot because I'm usually trying to mentally visualize a lot of these things, especially in the early stages of my relationship. I was always trying to find out in my mind, okay, what's something good to do? What's something good to express my love to her or to express my appreciation to her? And I found myself really one day realizing, like, man, I have no memories of any of this outside of the movies. You go take them to the dinner in the movie, or you can drop some pedals down to the bedroom. So I think what she's saying in the video, she's hitting on a real point that some men, not all men, have never even truly been exposed to what it's like to be intimately um engaged with a wife or a strong partner. Some people really did just see their father either just go to work and come home. It just depends on the dynamic of the household. And then a woman should then make a decision on, okay, am I going to continue a relationship now that I know this? That's why I like what she was saying in the video. Now you can hold him accountable and you hold yourself accountable to if you think there's somebody you can go on with in a strong and a serious relationship. Go to the barbecues, go to the fiestas, go to the gatherings, listen to the meetings, look how they interact with each other, and that'll give you a good idea of how that person is going to interact with if you create a family with them. All right, I'll turn it over to y'all. Ready, boy.
Go ahead, Israel. Because you said you was gonna go off. You muted right now, though.
Oh, it's not. I said, yeah. So, because that's one of the things I take into consideration. When I'm dealing with somebody, I think about the family. I'm like, how is they family? They got a big family, small family. I'm like, is they family ghetto? They family messy? Or what? Hood, classy? I think about the whole nine. Do I feel like I want to mess with them, or if I'm gonna hang with the family or not? Can I deal with them or not? But to what the lady's talking about, I feel it to a certain extent where it's like, oh, however, the son seeing the daddy act with his mama, that's how they gonna be. to a certain extent, because it's all up to everybody, their own individual. But it's like, growing up, I seen my parents, show their love for each other the way they do. I ain't from my memory, I never seen my dad get my mom roses, but when I'm with my lady, I get them roses. I wine and dine, you know, things of that nature. But I ain't always see, my parents did whatever they did. Their affection is their affection, but that ain't gonna, how you doing? That ain't gonna make me act how I'm gonna act towards my significant other, because I'm a different type of guy. I like to get them flowers and take them out. And my dad do that too, and he worked a lot too. But it was like, yeah, when him and my mom step out, they step out. They go together or things of that nature. But it all depends on that individual, that man, when he growing up as well. But yeah, that's how that works with that. But I still want to see the background of the female and her family too before I decide. All right, yeah, I could see them as family, or no, or maybe I could deal with her and just deal with them at the functions, but not for real, for real.
Yeah, cause see, I'm the type that's gonna go up to the
But that's
grandma. So did you teach her how to cook? Cause I'm hungry. I like to eat. I'm just like that. I ask them type of questions. Cause then if you like, you know what I'm saying? I understand. Most of the time they be like, yeah, she was in the kitchen with us. Or even the dynamic of let's say you dating this girl, you've been talking to her, maybe you've been talking to her for about a year or two, right?
right.
And she takes you to the family gathering. She said, we cooking at I want to introduce you to the family. And you get there early and she get in the kitchen. Everybody, the women in the kitchen, they doing their thing. It kind of gives you a dynamic on who you're talking to. If there's a comfortable environment when she's walking in and it's a, I'm kind of just blending back into what we usually do. If you're really thinking about making this a serious girl, I mean, that's something valuable. That means she's been given some kind of foundation on a household. And that's very important to me when it comes to relationships. Not just the cooking, it could be other things, but being able to support a household. Right. I'm looking to see if they supported you. How was they feeding you? Was they ironing your clothes before you went to school? You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah, like how was y'all family history? That's a big part too.
Yeah.
Because how y'all interacting growing up,
Because if you get serious with it, and let's say y'all create a family, you're extending their family as well. You're extending their bloodline too. So it's in seriousness. When you just dating and that may not be something that happened right away. But if you're really serious about somebody, I think that's very important. Meet their family, try to create a relationship with their family before you propose, especially if you're thinking about proposing or something like that. I say get cool with the family first. I say I'm old school. If they got a father, get the blessing of the father, because that plays a different part into how long your marriage lasts, your relationship lasts. If you're putting effort in trying to get to know them, they recognize that they'll go your bond if they have to, or look out for you in a way. Maybe I'm old school.
Nah,
but
I agree with that. I agree with that, fellas, because
you know what I'm saying?
I've dated people and I've met. So one of the women I had went with before years ago, me and her met in college, and we were clicking and we were gelling, and the first thing that we did, I met her mother. I met her mother. I met her father. We talked and everything. She met my mom and everything, my stepfather. And they all had the same questions. What are the intentions for each other? What are we gonna do with each other? Is this gonna be a dating thing? This is gonna be a long-term investment? These are questions that need to be answered when you are so-called courting somebody that you're actually looking to be something. Now, I'm not talking to the people who ain't looking for nothing. I'm talking to the people who's looking for a family, looking for a marriage, and looking for something that's long term. I did have to talk and meet the father and her mother. And that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. I don't do that for everybody. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I'm gonna be for real on this podcast. I don't meet everybody, people, but but the one that I can see a future with, I definitely done that. And like you say, Luke, you got these questions like, hey, did you teach your daughter how to cook? I'm a big man. I like to eat, okay? You know, I don't like
Yeah,
to
I
I
think
don't
that's
like to just
amazing.
huh?
That's a major key though, especially
Yeah.
learning the history that she got either with her pops or her
Yeah.
mom. You
Facts.
know, that's gonna
Do
tell a
they get
lot.
along?
And that's why
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you used the word courting, because some people be like, "Oh man, that's not that's a rude question to ask." That's why we are making the difference between something serious and if
Yeah.
it's platonic, and that's one thing. But if you're really thinking about making this your main chick or your wife, this is called courting for a reason. How you gonna go to court and don't nobody get questioned nothing hard? That ain't
Mm-hmm.
how the world works. If
Mm-hmm.
you serious about somebody, you need to ask the hard questions, because one, that shows that you care.
Yeah.
And I'd rather be someone that's asking hard questions because I care than someone that's passive aggressive and just letting everything happen because I don't want to offend nobody. Oh no. I'm extending y'all bloodline too. So I want to make sure I'm a good fit. I really like your daughter. I think she's a wonderful person. And I just want to get to know everybody better. And happens over time. It don't happen right away, but you put effort into it. That's what she was saying in the video. How you not gonna put no effort into it, but then expect the man to do all this? You ain't even put effort to find out if you know it. And I say it go the same thing, same way for the fellas. How you gonna get mad because she don't cook and clean? You ain't put no effort to find out if they taught her how. But you made that decision, because we the ones who are the decision makers of relationships. So come on now, we got to take accountability too.
And then if you walk into a messy house, you see her house messy and you think that, oh, she gonna clean for you. No, that was her characteristic before you met her.
Preach, prophet.
She was messy before you met her.
Preach, prophet.
So now all of a sudden you think that she's gonna cook and clean for you because it's you. That's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen that you think she gonna finally start cleaning up when you met her and you came the first day that you chilled at her crib. You started looking around like, damn, she got all this on the floor.
Man, I got a perfect quote. I was listening to some type of video, but I'm gonna tell you what it made a lot of sense when it came to women and let's see, the way their environment, right? It was like a messy car is a messy mind. A messy house is also a messy mind. Okay? So you see how they is by their car and by their house. That's their environment. That's how they is. Now, if they got a clean car, they got a clean mind. If they got a clean house, they got a clean mind.
Hmm. Yeah.
Let me see.
Yo,
I think it's
yeah.
another piece of
What you
that.
feel on the inside shows on the outer
Oh,
appearance.
here we go. And also, you can look at a woman or a man and see how they treat themselves by how they treat their environment. Boom. There we go right there. That's
So
speaking
yeah,
loud.
so if you come into the house and everything just in disarray, you got the couch pillows on the floor, you got pins and you got dishes everywhere in the sink, you know, your pots
Mm-hmm.
is everywhere and all that stuff, then it's gonna be chaotic.
That part.
You just showed you manifested. Remember we was talking earlier about the support and how you have the support in yourself and what you show yourself. You just showed how you feel on the inside, but how you keep the things around you. If there's no order in your life, everything gonna be out of order.
That part. It's gonna be messy, out of order, and you don't know what to do.
You can't make a
Chaotic.
decision. You know the one thing that what Luke just said. He said that we the decision makers. You know the one thing that a man should be able to do if he can't do nothing else is make a decision. And if you can't make a decision, we know that like the bishop, the Archbishop Titus used to tell us all the time, a double-minded man is unstable in
In all
all of
his
his
ways.
ways.
A man without a vision don't need a woman, and you can't help a man that don't have a vision.
That's why you got to get your house in order first before you go trying to add somebody to the house. Too many young men, like, I agree.
Wait, hold on. Oh, I was muted. Hold on. Say that again, Luke. Say that.
Nah, you gotta you have to make sure your house is in order before you start trying to add people to the house. So and this is something that I think, unfortunately, we've been pressured a little bit into it. There is an expectation of creating a nuclear family, and it is a wonderful thing because it helps build society. It helps sustain society. But as young men, we're supposed to dominate certain things about ourselves. And the number one thing is how to control our emotions. I'm not that hard on us because haven't they always said women just a little bit smarter than men? So if you know that, y'all gonna get certain things a little bit down packed faster than we do. And one thing that women are really good at mastering is their emotional stability before men do. That usually comes in our 30s. When we really begin to not let things kind of shift and throw us, and we're not fighting as much, we're mentally thinking. This is when we start sending out lawyers instead of fighting.
Hold
That's
up,
a
you
whole
said
other type of
women,
man.
they learn
You know what
how
I'm
to
saying?
master their emotions.
Yeah, but and that's the thing. I'm like, okay, so if that's how we are, and we're working on that in our 20s and 30s, you 21, 22, you shouldn't be getting pressured to have to go get married and have children and all that. No, you got to master yourself first before you bring anybody into your house, because then you're bringing them into an unstable house and your foundation is bound to fall at some point because you can't handle that. You ain't even mastered being by yourself and mastering your craft, as they'll know. You got to master that craft, find out what works for you, then become a master at it. Then you start thinking about helping other people. Then you start thinking about getting the best and the finest of women, because now you are able to kind of be in that bracket. But everybody want to put the cart before the horse and then wonder why they ain't going nowhere. So I just be like, hey.
So what you were saying, Israel? You saying that they not mastering their emotions, these women?
I said, you think they master? I feel like they don't ever master their emotions because they emotionally driven. Like, men are logically driven, and most women are emotionally. Like, I've had different situations where the woman has done certain actions because they felt a certain type of way. And it's
But
like,
see, they can get away with that, Israel.
No,
That's
but
the difference.
it's like,
if a woman does that, she's not held accountable like a man will be.
and it's crazy, but they want us to be accountable, but they don't be held accountable of their emotions.
No, they
But
don't
we
want
think
to.
logic. We think logic first and then emotional. Because this would be the logical thing to do. And then we go off of emotion. But the woman is reversed. Emotionally, then logic. Okay, logic is not even, I don't even think it's in the dough unless you more experienced with life to be logically driven as a woman, in my opinion.
You have to be trained. Like, a woman that's trained to be logic, you will be able to tell whether that was her father, maybe a brother, or even her spouse. She still has a level of femininity about her, but that submissiveness of understanding that there is a thinking going on in every situation of life. I think that's where it comes from. And we need them to be emotional because, again, they bear the children. So I understand. I really get it. But if there's expectations in that way, we got to hold ourselves accountable to say, all right, let me not jump the gun. Let me figure out where I fit into this society. Let me master that. Let me be the best that I can be. And then I can think about if I'm going to spread that out. And even myself, this is something I should have did more. Now, I know at a young age, I was ready to start a family because mentally I had made up the commitment to. I was committed to do everything it took. But without that, you will look up and you'll be like, what situation am I in? You got to master yourself first. Women are going to come and go. They're going to always be here. But don't let nobody pressure you.
I'm not trying to pressure you. Just stop thinking about you. You ain't even really gotta be my girlfriend.
So I just want to know your name, girl.
I just want to know your name. But man, I feel like I miss how the old queens, they had that saying, right? Put your feelings in your pocket. Put them in your pocket. Don't nobody do that no more. They wear them on their shoulder. That's the problem with the world and society and churches, people, and members. They got the feelings on the shoulder like it's a chip on the shoulder instead of putting it in their pocket. That's what's wrong with the church, the people, and society now.
Well, yes, society for sure, but everything is ultra sensitive.
And I'm glad you brought that up, Israel, because we was talking about this whole situation with Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate house has been raided once again. And if you look at his message, a lot of times it is, I mean, you have to be, first off, you have to be mentally strong to get through what he's saying. It's not for the weak. But the message is standing up for what you believe in and basically not selling yourself out for any dollar amount or for any fame or anything, being true to yourself. So that message is under attack for some reason. I don't know why they don't like it. To me, it makes logical sense. To me, it builds a great citizen, a great character, a great person to have around, a great neighbor, someone who's honest, who's loyal, who stands up for what's right. I would love for you to be my neighbor if you got them type of categories. You know what I'm saying? So why is that so bad now, y'all? Like, what's going on with that?
I feel when it comes to society nowadays, the sensitiveness is it's a mask for acceptance. I believe that they want you to accept all types of stuff. A little bit about me, y'all. I study psychology. So there's a way to condition people. If you want them to think a certain way, you have to put it in little tidbits around to put it in a subconscious. What you see consciously is not what you see subconsciously. Okay, so there are certain triggers and things that you can do in society, in the media, in the schools that we were talking about last week, 2 weeks ago. They put certain things in your face for you to kind of start accepting. And so now it's just a mask. They put it as sensitiveness, like, oh, it's disrespectful. We don't live in a world now. You can't say the F word. And I'm not talking about the 4-letter word. I'm talking about another word for gay. So there's a certain things that you can't even say now that you used to be able to say in 2005 that you can't say now in 2024. The sensitiveness, they only want to desensitize you when it comes to black disparity and problems, but they want you to be ultra sensitive to the agendas that they want running for you. So for an example, I can say, as in like how we talking about the whole the transgender thing and movement of that nature. So now anybody you can't say, like I say, the F word, I can't say it on the podcast, but I don't want to get canceled. And that's a movement as well. You can get canceled now for saying, oh, okay, I'm this person, and maybe that person is a little different. So if you attack because that person is a little different, or you have something to say about somebody being different, now they make you feel as though you can't do something like that. You can't speak your mind because the rest of the world has now been sensitive to the fact that, oh, that person may be different. That person used to be a man, now it's a woman, and you have to accept it. And if you don't accept it, then you have a phobia or you have a problem with change, and everybody got to look at you with the stink eye. They have been doing this for a while in the cartoons, in the movies, in our face, in the media. People didn't even think stuff was fake until Donald Trump said something about fake news.
Fake news.
So being your authentic self sometimes is frowned upon if it ain't for what the agenda is. So I think that's the reason why, they attacking somebody. It's hard to say you pro-black nowadays because they be like, well, what about all these other people? When Black Lives Matter started, which actually was started by a white person, we can get into that another time. But
yeah,
But when they started the Black Lives Matter movement, the first thing that came right after that is like, what about everybody else? All lives.
Man. Woo.
So they
Nah.
they literally strategically put things in your place to get you comfortable with stuff.
Comfortable, riled up. Man, they be looking for a response. And then they want to point their fingers, but it's like you the ones that's looking for the response. We was cool until you started doing, oh, what about us too?
Stupid.
What? Come on now. It's wild. It's wild out here, man.
A whole new day and time. Where we used to be right, it's wrong. What's wrong be seeming right to people. I'll be like, I don't know. I know I'm a dad, so I know I sometimes really sound like one, but I just be like, I don't remember this when we was growing up. Like I'm a 90s baby. So I know things was changing a lot, but we probably just didn't really see it because we were young and we were developing and we were still in our own world. But now that I'm older, I'm just like, man.
Well, they
Yeah.
also having this argument too. They have just had the Democratic National Convention, and
In
of course,
Chicago.
yeah, in Chicago, you know, they had all the Chicago native celebrities come out, and one of the people who came out was Oprah Winfrey. Now, I ain't gonna
What?
I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Where do Oprah be at? Cause she be popping
Downtown.
out of nowhere.
I'm trying to figure out too, because I'm like, apparently she be downtown. I just don't know the street, you know. Like, let me run into Oprah. I'm like, yo, I need a show. What's up? Very charismatic. You know, I can get the views. That's something.
Oprah be, I don't know, she a different type of celebrity. Nobody ever runs into her.
She probably be in the house all the time. Who knows? She probably a serial killer. Would you run into a serial killer? No, they gonna be at home a lot by themselves. Man. Like, where you be
Okay.
at? Where I be at? What do you mean where I be at? When you're
So
not on the show.
they finally are, you know, everybody's going full-fledged backing Kamala Harris, of course. So they had to get the people to come out to talk and back her and give her them their endorsements and support. Your boy Luke dropped out the race. What you
Ben?
say, Robert? What is it?
RFK?
Junior?
Yeah, he like,
Yeah.
ain't nobody giving him no play. Might as well drop out.
But supposedly now he's going to give his support to Donald Trump.
No, that was that was a conversation that was had. There had to been a conversation that was had. And I'm pretty sure that conversation would look, RFK, I like you a lot. I think you got a lot of good points, but I just need your support right now. We have one enemy. We got to take down. If you back me, if you get behind me, we're gonna make this happen. I know Donald Trump had that conversation with him because at some point I seen it going that way because their views are not really too different. RFK is, you know, he's in the middle, but he wants a lot of the same things. Everybody just wants things to get cleaned up. We're in the cleanup process, government wise. You not even draining the swamp. You coming through with a whole demolition of teams. So, you know, if he backs him, that's even more support for him. That's why I'm like, this race is already done. Now, I was downtown when Kamala ran by. I think they drove by me. I was working on my bike, and I seen them cars. They went woo, 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 woo. It was either Obama or Kamala. But when I say the streets was not lined up in Chicago, don't let them fool you. Didn't nobody come outside. Didn't nobody line on the streets. Nobody really cared. They just had a whole bunch of lights and a whole bunch of flash. And that told me a lot.
They was
There
at
was
the
no
United
traffic
Center.
jams. I worked that night downtown, right in the same area where they're holding this event. There were no traffic jams. There were no problems because the support is not as big as people think it is.
That's interesting because I remember when Obama was down there, they had it sold up. They was sold up. I was driving Uber that day, and
Man,
it
no, it
was
was more.
jam packed.
If
Or
anybody
driving Lyft.
created traffic for themselves, Israel, it was the amount of SWAT and extra police they had. But it wasn't like a lot of people came and the streets was crowded. Like I say, I was working that night. I was literally in the midst of everything. And I said that to myself, this ain't that, this is not how I'm used to it. Usually it's people everywhere because they're coming. The arena's so packed that they got people outside. It was not like that this time. Wasn't like that. So that's telling me a lot.
Well, Oprah said that she told the people who to vote for. She actually told them at the convention. Yeah, we voting for Kamala, right? And like, everybody screaming and hollering and all that stuff. So I was watching a little bit of her speech, and one of the issues that she brought up was the whole abortion law. And I know as men, we kind of got to tiptoe around it a little bit, the conversation. But is that such a real political topic to really talk about right now? Like, is that something that first of all, my question is, A, should we as a country be talking about this? And B, if we are talking about this, should the states decide or should the federal government decide when it comes to these abortion laws?
I think there's better things to talk about than abortion laws because they're like, yeah, everybody want to. It's just go back to her body, her choice. Okay, plain and simple. When you digging deeper into it, now it's like you trying to control the body. Okay, everybody's got their body. It's their choice. If they want to have 2 legs, 1 leg, no legs, no baby, no babies.
Or no legs.
We got other stuff. We got other stuff to talk about. Just leave it at that. Her body, her choice. Her choice. If she want to do it, cool. If she don't, cool. It's cool. We got other stuff. What about the homeless people out here? What about all these taxes out here? What about the gas prices, the rent where there's no cap on how high they can go? Man, come on, man. It's the plain simple fix. If you just go back to that, her body, her choice, we cool. Next.
What'd you say to that, Luke?
All right, so yeah, it's such a sensitive topic. So I'll go easy on it. I mean, these are circumstantial conversations. A lot of different circumstances will determine, I think, really where you go with that. And I get it. I get why Oprah is coming that way. I get why she's looking at the dynamic of it because one, that's a big standpoint that the Democratic Party has always had. And then they're still trying to aim with the younger crowd. So these are a lot of things to keep in mind. This is their audience. So she's going out guns blazing, basically. She's starting off.
But they don't know their audience. Their audience like it raw. Man.
Yeah, she definitely brought that up in her speech, and I'm just like, are we still talking about this? Like,
because it's like if you don't talk about that, it's like go full fledged with it. You either gonna be religious or you're not. You're talking about this because it's in the Bible, but then you don't want to do all these other stuff that's in the Bible. Now you're picking and choosing. Like, come on now, come on. What are we really doing? She don't even have children. She shouldn't be talking about this. Like, she shouldn't be talking about this. Get somebody. Neither one of them need to be talking about this. Get somebody who got children to talk about this.
It is kind of weird, right? Right? Yeah, I see where you're coming from, Israel, because it's like, how are you even relating? Now I get it. She was a talk show host and all that, but this is different. This is law we talking about. This is policies. But it's interesting. This is why I say I don't really think they're gonna make it. The election is gonna be probably a landslide. Because how are you going in guns? But people are upset on both sides of the parties.
She's
They do not like
gaining
how
followers though, Luke. She's gaining a lot of support. Kamala
you
is
think.
gaining.
See, you think. Hey, if Kamala win, it'll be an interesting day.
Oh man, we going to war.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I might be in my bunker if that happens. I might have to go down for a little bit on that one.
No hate, don't say. You gotta speak what it is.
Well,
The rest of the world might wake up on the wrong side of the bed one day.
Like
they
I say,
already
Mad
did.
at America. They'll be mad at America. Like, what? How you let this happen? War.
And see that work. Of course, they're keeping that in mind, which is why I'm looking at this political party now. Let's also remember, just to throw an insight in here, fellas. I don't know if y'all ever heard of Candace Owens.
Yes.
She was one of the one of the commentators. So of course she has her own channel now, and she was speaking about the whole Israel situation and all of this, and she began to get backlash. We have the situation with Ukraine and Russia, and everyone is starting to kind of form sides now. You can see how the parties are. Everyone is really starting to line. It's like you coming up to the Super Bowl, the big game is coming. So I'm interested to see really how a lot of this is gonna play out, because with them switching to Kamala, it's kind of like a fresh race, even though we're at the end of it. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna talk about that in another episode. We got a lot to talk about. This election is crazy. This election
It's super
is crazy.
man.
Well, family, with that being said, thank you for tuning in to episode 15
Thank
of
you,
the
thank you,
Pharaohs
thank you.
Podcast. I'm your host, Solomon. You can find me on Facebook, Cornelius Solomon Walker on Facebook. You can email me when you want to get your book published at cwalker1582@gmail.com. You can follow us everywhere on the podcast at the Pharaohs Podcast@gmail.com. Israel, where can people find you?
Man, y'all can follow me on Facebook, Jonathan Johnson. You can find me on my website, jonathanjohnson621.com. And you can find me here on the Pharaohs Podcast.
And Luke, where can people find you?
Same, y'all can find me on the Pharaohs Podcast. I'm looking forward to this upcoming year. We want to do a lot of fun things too. We're trying to build the channel up, y'all. So support us. It don't cost nothing to subscribe. If you like what we're doing, if you want to see us keep going and get better at what we're doing, we're looking for the support, and we hoping we can have some events and some things come up this year that will, help kind of spread the love, give back appreciation to the people who have been supporting us. So again, you can find me at the Pharaohs Podcast. Any questions, anything, I'm looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, and we got some guests coming, y'all. So stay tuned. We're gonna talk to y'all about some finances coming up real soon. All right.
Facts.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace.